In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to diagram subjects and verbs. This will be the beginning of our looking at parts of speech and parts of the sentence, and this may be a very old-fashioned way to do it, but you know what? It works, and it is easy. I have had students tell me, and they did not want to learn to diagram. But afterwards, they told me this was the first time they ever understood grammar. And they even had fun doing it. So just give it a chance. I am going to start with action verbs only. There's another type of verb, and we will get to that, but it is just far easier and clearer if we limit ourselves to action verbs to begin with. In order to be a sentence, you must have a subject and verb. Otherwise, you don't have what is called an independent clause, and therefore you don't have a sentence. But we can't just start, slapping things on a diagram. We have to do a few things first. The first thing we do is to find any prepositional phrases. And I'm going to do another video on finding these, but you might even get the idea just from what we do today if you don't already know. We have a prepositional phrase in down the street. It begins with a preposition, down, and it ends with a noun or a pronoun. In this case, it's the noun street. The subject, the verb, direct objects, any important part, in fact, I'll write that down. Any important part of the sentence will never be in a prep. Therefore, all we're going to do with preps for a while, eventually we'll need to deal with them, but all we're going to do is get them out of our way. We know the subject and verb can't be in there. Now, you may have been accustomed to looking for the subject first. I'm going to advise you not to do that. Look for the action of the sentence. The action is ran. Then ask yourself, who or what, and put in the verb. In this case, ran. Well, the answer will equal the subject. That is your subject. Therefore, who or what ran? Boy. So boy is the subject. So we have the verb is boy, who or what ran? I'm sorry, ran. Who or what ran? Boy. Subject and verb. Now we want to diagram. Well, actually, let me do one more with you before we slap them on a diagram. All right, here's another one. First, we look for any preps to get them out of our way. Can you spot any? There is one, and it is in love. In is the preposition, love is a thing, and we're going to get it out of our way. What's the action? Fell. Who or what fell? Romeo and Juliet. We have two subjects. No problem. All right, let's go back to that first one we had. Now we're going to diagram. We ended up with boy ran. With a diagram, you draw a line, just a horizontal line. That is the baseline. All really important parts of the sentence will be on this baseline. Then you draw a perpendicular line and it goes clear through the baseline. You put your subject over here and the verb here. Boy was not the first word of the sentence, so it did not have a capital letter, and so it will not have a capital letter on the diagram. If it had any, you have to use the exact caps or non-caps that were in the sentence. Okay, that's a diagram of the subject and verb of that first sentence. But now you may be looking up here and going, oh no, we've got a problem because now we've got two subjects. And guess what? If we've got two subjects, we need two lines, and that is all you do. You make two subject lines, you join them back together, and you draw the rest of your baseline. Okay? The action was fell. Who or what fell? Romeo came first, so it goes up here. Juliet came second. She goes down here. And the word and was between them. And you see this little dotted line I have between the two? That is right where I put the and. And that shows, even from clear across the room, you might not be able to read the words, but you could look at that and say, oh, that's a sentence that has two subjects and one verb. Okay, I'm going to change it up again. You'll notice I'm just giving you one example of each type, but you can keep going back to this video if you get confused. All right, look for prepositional phrases. Romeo and Juliet sang songs and ate pizza. And there are no prepositional phrases at all. So it's like, okay, then you can move straight to the action. What is the action in this sentence? Look hard at it. Look at the whole sentence. And hopefully you'll see, oh, they sang and they ate. So I have two verbs. Now you should already be thinking, okay, then I'll have to split that verb line to make two lines out of it. And who sang and ate? Why, that would be Romeo and Juliet. So I end up with Romeo, Juliet, and got to bring it back together because I have to do the crossbar between the subject and verb. Then I have two verbs. I'm going to have to split it again. And they sang and ate. And the verb and was between those, so I have A-N-D. If the verb or was between them for some other reason, I would be writing or on that dotted line. And this is an example of two subjects and two verbs. In this last one that I'm going to show you before I turn you loose to practice, and I realize I've just done one of each form, but you can look back at this video anytime you want. We have Cinderella scrubbed the floor and whined about the work. Okay, do I have any preps? Can you see any? Hopefully you saw this one. About the work. Get rid of it. What's the action here? Look at the whole thing. She scrubbed. whined. All right. Who or what scrubbed and whined? Why, little Miss Cinderella. So I only have one subject, so it's like, okay. Cinderella. But I've got two verbs, so I have to split the verb part. Scrubbed, whined, and here we have one subject, two verbs. Now I want you to go to the exercises at easygrammar.net and try some, and I will be getting the somehow figure out a way to get the answers up there also. Remember to make the dividing line perpendicular and go straight through, because as we go farther you will see if we make it crooked, that means something else, and if we stop it at the line, that means something else. Now right now this may not seem any easier or slicker than the way you used to work with subjects and verbs, and that's probably true. It's what we can do with diagrams from this point on that opens up a whole new easy way for you. Good luck.